Hey guys, it's Kia from the Power Team, and we're back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about understanding and coping with stress. So there's, different types of stress. You have good stress and you have bad stress, the troublesome stress. Not all stress is bad, right? There's good stress out there. And whether you are stressing physically, emotionally, or mentally, there's always a way to properly manage it. And so we're just going to discuss some of the ways in which you could do that. So, performance and wellness are enhanced with moderate and manageable levels of stress. And all that means is that stress can create motivation for you to complete things, right? So, and that's your kind of good stress, your positive stress. Because ultimately, right, we want to make sure that the things that we're setting out to do get done. So to have some type of positive stress for us to be motivated to do that is definitely a good thing, right? So some examples of, positive stress would be like stressing to finish a paper, like that, giving you that motivation to get done, or giving you that motivation to win a sport, or, meet everyday challenges and actually completing them in the way in which you saw fit. So all of those are traits of positive stress. Now you have negative stress, right? The troublesome stress that we were talking about earlier. So troublesome stress, it happens when you tend to avoid what's causing the problem, right? So you get all anxious and you stress about, what might happen, or all of the what ifs, because ultimately what it is you're not dealing with the root of the issue. And so, like some possible causes of stress could be like relationships, grief, losing someone, pressure from something, like moving into a new environment or being around a new environment, having trouble with like time management skills, even like gender identity and sexual orientation. All of those things can cause stress, right? And so like some symptoms of stress would be like, forgetting things, or, feeling like you're not in control of your life, depression, sadness, lack of concentration, even down to like weight gain and substance abuse and hair loss, even feeling nervous, feeling shaky, like all of those are symptoms of stress, right? And so how we deal or manage rather that stress is by coping, right? Now, some people have, not so good coping mechanisms. A lot of those things are, surrounded around like putting all of your attention into one thing and not necessarily taking care of yourself, right? And that could be like drugs and alcohol and things of that nature. And so I want to provide you with some better coping skills. So, getting enough sleep, eating, nutritional food, and getting your physical activity in a day can truly, truly help with coping with stress. And it can actually make you less anxious, because you're regulating your body in a way, right? So when it comes to your mind and how to deal with stress and anxiety in your mind, right? One of the things that you can do is you can, accept that you cannot control everything. And that's like a huge one, right? Because I don't know about you guys, but sometimes me personally, I have moments where I'm trying to like juggle a million things at one time, and I have to literally stop myself and be like, you know what? You cannot control everything. There's going to be some things that are going to slip, and you're putting more stress on yourself by trying to control everything at the same time. So you have to first accept that you cannot control everything, And secondly, do your best. Do your best at everything. Do your best always. Just put your best foot forward. And instead of aiming for perfection, right, just aim for what's possible. Like, make the things that you're trying to do realistic. Because when you make them realistic, you're more than likely to achieve them. And, perfection truly does not exist. And then also maintaining a positive attitude, right? So, like, if you think that something's going to be a disaster and that's what you put out there, that it's going to be a disaster, then ultimately it's going to be a disaster. But if you start talking to yourself in positive ways and putting out there that, I am going to succeed, I am going to make it, I'm going to get that job, I'm definitely going to, better communicate within my relationship. All of those things are positive ways of looking at those things. And once you get that kind of positive mindset, that positive thinking, you tend to cancel out all of those negative thoughts. And now not only are you mentally there, but now you're, emotionally believing it. All of your actions that follow through are towards that positive mindset and not the negative one. And then most importantly, when it comes to your mind, is learning what triggers your anxiety, right? So like learning like your triggers can help you, because then, you can not necessarily avoid those triggers, but you can tell when they're coming up, right? Like you can be like, oh dang, this is gonna trigger me. Maybe I shouldn't do that, right? Like, and that's not necessarily like thinking in a negative way. That's knowing, what you can and can't handle. That's knowing, like, your your limits, right? And if once you know your limits, then it makes navigating through life easier. And so, just as far as your mind, remember these 4 things: accept the things that you cannot control, do your best, maintain a positive attitude always, and learn what triggers your anxiety. So then for your body, right, ways to manage your stress, and kind of cope with your stress and anxiety, when it comes to your body, you want to limit your alcohol and caffeine intake, right? So caffeine and alcohol can aggravate anxiety, and they can trigger things like panic attacks. Instead, maybe like drink some water. Always have some water. Listen, water literally cures everything. Always have your water. Stay hydrated. So instead of drinking alcohol and coffee, drink some water. Eat well-balanced meals. So, instead of skipping your meals or skipping meals, or, like making unhealthy choices, maybe try eating some greens today, a piece of fruit, anything. Just try to keep it healthy. Try to eat, snacks that are going to give you energy. And, get enough sleep. It's another one. Get enough sleep. So, when you're stressed, your body needs additional sleep and rest. So, like, when you are stressed and you don't get enough rest, right? That's when you feel like, like real dragging and super tired, and, you don't really feel like doing anything today. It's ultimately just because you need a nap. You're tired. You need to go to sleep. So if you start off from the beginning by getting enough sleep, then you won't have to worry about it during the day, and you be all right. Control your anxiety. So it's important to get at least 8 hours of sleep per night. At least 8. And exercise daily, right? So even if that's, you waking up and, doing some squats, or waking up and, I don't know, some jumping jacks, stretching it out, doing some yoga, anything that you feel like, is going to get you in a good mood and help to maintain your health, you want to do those things so that you can limit the anxiety and the stress in your body, right? So again, limit alcohol and caffeine, drink some water, eat well-balanced meals, don't be skipping meals, get enough sleep, at least 8 hours, exercise daily, do some yoga, stretch it out. Okay, So there's some actions that you can take on top of the things that I've already talked to you about is, meditating, taking time out, giving back to your community. I know that's kind of hard now, with where we are in the world, but, maybe you can like go online and look to see, like if anyone is getting together and giving, meals to the homeless, or giving meals or supplies to people who are in need. Maybe you can be a part of that so that you can feel like you're a part of something, because I don't know about you guys, but it's getting real bored being in the house. Slowly count to 10. Take that time out, just count to 10, right? Just take a breath, breathe in and out, count to 10, right? And then maybe you can talk to somebody, like ask a friend, family member, anything, get in the habit of getting out what you are feeling inside, so that you don't hold it in your body to get to have stress all over you. Make sure you get it out. So whether it's talking to someone or even writing it down, like get a journal, write it down, and once you write it down, you can release it. And one of the biggest ways for me personally is to get it out, just to write it down and release it. Because once I get it out and release it, then I'm no longer holding it within myself, right? So what we're going to do now really quickly is we are going to, take a time out, take a minute and just relax, right? We're going to take a minute to just relax. So I'm going to talk you through a relaxation technique, right? So I'm gonna get us a little nice little groove going, and then I'm gonna talk you through it. So give me 2 seconds. Okay. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get comfortable in your chair or wherever you are, and you are going to close your eyes. Just loosely close your eyes, and then I'll talk you through the rest, all right? All right. So close your eyes for me. So I'm going to name certain parts of your face and body, and when you hear me name a part, I would like for you to take a breath, and on the exhale, let that part of your body relax. Now let's take 3 deep breaths before we get started. All right, now let's bring it to the jaw. Release the tension out of your jaw. Now the mouth. And the eyes. And the forehead. And our shoulders. And our necks. And our arms. And the hands. And our thighs. our calves. And our feet. Now, as I count from 5 to 1, let yourself become more alert. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now yawn, stretch it out. Yup. Now open your eyes. And just make sure that you've released all of the tension that you feel. So that was just a quick relaxation technique that you can do so that you can make sure that you're releasing tension in all of those areas that I named. You can even close your eyes, you can even sit down Indian style, with your legs crossed, put your arms out and hold your fingers like this. And just rest them on top of your kneecaps and just breathe and meditate. And don't necessarily, I know your mind's going to be running, right? I know your mind's going to be running, but instead of focusing and harboring on that thought, just let it pass. Just let it pass and allow yourself to relax and find your center. And, that's for sure one of the biggest ways for me that I cope and manage my stress. So just as a reminder, we're going to run through the things that you can do really quickly, what we learned. So today we learned the difference between good and bad stress, ways in which we can manage our stress, and a relaxation technique that we can do to, help us in just bringing ourselves back to center, back to ourselves. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait for the next one. Guys, have a good day.